Gino was a member of the Transport Workers Solidarity Committee, and that's a class struggle, rank and file organization composed of mainly workers in the transport industry. Gino was a member of that committee, and on behalf of the Transport Workers Solidarity Committee, I want to express condolences to Gino's family, particularly Tina, who just spoke here, Jackie, his other sister, and Raphael, his son. And we're also here to pay homage to Gino because he was a real soldier in the class war that's taking place in this country. It's a war that we're losing, and we're losing it in large part because there aren't enough younger union members like Gino who aren't afraid to fight the employer. In fact, they look forward to a good fight with the employer. And furthermore, they're not afraid to challenge. Gino wasn't afraid to challenge his own trade union bureaucracy when they got out of line, when he felt they were betraying him. And that's what he was known for amongst his fellow workers, a principled, intransigent fighter for the working class. I first recall working with Gino around 1997. I think there was a BART strike at that time, and Gino always fought to link up other workers' struggles. And the Longshore Union at that time was striking in solidarity with Liverpool dock workers. And so we hooked it up with the BART workers who were also striking. He always fought for solidarity with other unions, and that's kind of the basis of what class struggle is about. So in the 2013 BART strike, he was instrumental in building that kind of solidarity. Not only with the ILW and other unions, but within the black community and the Latino community. Because he felt very strongly that fighting racism was a key component to winning strikes and eventually making a revolution in this country. And so he fought diligently to link up with the black community. He was also a strong defender of Troy Davis. When Troy Davis's sister, Martina Correa, came to the West Coast, he always was her chauffeur. They were good friends, and he would drive her around. He looked forward to that. He was an ardent defender of Mumia Abu-Jamal, who now, Troy Davis was executed by the state of Georgia, in case you didn't know. An innocent man who even the former head of the FBI said there should be a new trial for Troy Davis. Archbishop Tutu defended him. And in a similar situation, we now have Mumia Abu-Jamal, who Gino was also a strong defender of. And Mumia is not on death row, but because he has hepatitis C, which could and probably will lead to cancer, the state of Pennsylvania is looking to execute him by medical neglect. And that's an issue that Gino took to heart. He fought strongly for the rights of the oppressed, particularly black and Latino workers in this country. So in 2013, working with the Transport Workers Solidarity Committee, Gino, Uri Holly, and others organized a really militant mass rally at Oscar Grant Plaza in downtown Oakland. I think it was close to a couple thousand workers, and we marched through the streets in solidarity to demand justice for the striking BART workers. To my knowledge, there were no such rallies organized by any of the union officials. That was the main event, actually, during the strike, as far as union actions. Uri Holly and Gino also attempted to have a rally at the Fruitvale Station. That's where Oscar Grant was killed. And that was to try to link in the black community and the Latino community with the struggle with the BART workers. That was undermined. It was actually stopped by the International President Hamlin. And should have taken place, it could have taken place. In my mind, and the mind, I think, of the Transfer Worker Solidarity Committee, it would have been decisive in winning an important class struggle in this country. It never happened, unfortunately. So let me just say that in 2009, I'm a retired member of the Longshore Union, LWU. We had a rally in downtown Oakland that Gino helped organize. It was a rally to demand justice for the family of Oscar Grant. Oscar Grant was murdered by BART police, and the union itself wouldn't take a position because too many of the union officials, and quite frankly, rank and file members, felt that, well, the BART police were their friends. The fact of the matter is, when you go on strike, police, whether they're BART police or others, are strike breakers. Gino understood that, and he helped us to organize the rally. We shut down all the ports in the Bay Area to demand justice for the family of Oscar Grant. And finally, I just want to say that Gino was a true internationalist. During that 2013 strike, he, along with the Transfer Worker Solidarity Committee, tried to get as many unions internationally to bolster the spirits of the striking BART workers, because they were isolated here in the Bay Area. And so I will read a letter which was never read to the BART workers who were on strike. It was sent to all the union officials, but to my knowledge it's never been read to the BART workers, and I want to read it here. It's very short, but it's important because it underscores the importance of internationalism in class struggle. Dear brothers and sisters, I'm writing to give my support and solidarity to your rally planned for 8th October. I believe that's the one that was in downtown Oakland. I understand that there are a number of issues around wage freezes, austerity, and management, which are all making life tougher for workers there. Public service workers continue to be attacked around the world because of the global crisis in capitalism. These attacks on workers are part of the austerity agenda, whether in Britain or the United States, are wrong medicine for our people and our community. I wish all those associated with your demonstration a successful day, and wish you all well, challenging those forces that are attacking the interests of workers. Unite is Britain and Ireland's largest trade union with over 1.4 million members. In solidarity, Len McCluskey, General Secretary. That letter was sent to bolster the spirits of the striking BART workers, and it was never read to those workers. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Richard Chen. I've known Gino for about 10 years or so, but the first time I began seriously working with him was when we were trying to organize the port truckers during Occupy Oakland. Gino gave a lot of attention to the younger activists, and he gave me one of the most important pieces of political advice I've ever received in my life, when I burdened myself to him on one occasion, and the advice was basically loosen up. He didn't use those words, but he was very nice about it. I'm going to read a bit of the Transport Workers Solidarity Committee's tribute to Gino. We knew him politically, so there's personal reminiscences and things like that in there, but I'm just going to focus on the political stuff. The Transport Workers Solidarity Committee is deeply saddened to hear about the passing of our past member and comrade, Gino Pepi. During his tenure as Vice President of ATU 1555, as a member of the Justice for Gerald Hall Committee, Gino was instrumental in convincing his local to pass a resolution condemning the murder of Gerald Hall, a young black man who was shot by a BART cop with a shotgun outside of the Hayward BART station. In doing this, he encountered serious resistance from his own union leadership, but also from a significant number of rank-and-file union members who considered BART police to be fellow workers. Although Gino was unsuccessful in persuading the union to take job action, the resolution was a step forward for the ATU, and not surprisingly, it provoked an outraged response from the Police Officers Association. Gino was not afraid to stand up for what was right in the face of criticism. When Oscar Grant was shot back in 2009, he went to the Bart board and he said this: "Bart may try to discredit me and the statement I made today. Discredit away. It will not undo the community's justifiable anger, the shooting death of Oscar Grant and the two others, not undo the safety consequences for Bart workers, nor cleanse the blood Bart has on its hands. I encourage all Bart employees to speak out." Gino was one of the initiators of the 1997 six-day Bart strike. He worked to organize joint action with other unions, including a mass picket with the IOWU. During the recent 2013 Bart strike, Gino worked with us to organize the Bart Workers' Rally at Oscar Grant Plaza. He defended George Figueroa, one of the strike leaders, when George was framed up by Bart management, who were working in conjunction with the ATU leadership to suspend George from work and take him out of the strike. Gino worked alongside us to try to create rank-and-file strike committees in multiple unions, aiming to build a joint strike of transit unions. These efforts were ultimately defeated through the counter-organizing of the ATU leadership. Despite this, Gino's leadership was exemplary. He was constantly reminding ATU members that they had the right, under the ATU Constitution, to challenge their leaders and take control of the strike. And I'd like to read something that he sent me in an email, which went to a co-worker, and I think it really says what it was about. "If we want to win greater solidarity action from the other unions, like the IOWU and the Teamsters, we need to get our union brothers and sisters at AC Transit, ATU 192, into action with us. If the ATU International won't do it, we have to. The beginning of the ATU Constitution makes it clear. If you're in the ATU, picket lines and strikes by ATU members means don't cross. We are human beings asking for our brothers and sisters to take action with us, for all of us. An injury to one is an injury to all, and the way to freedom is through organization now. If the corporations want to use the law to break us, we best prepare to break the law. It's how we built our unions and how we won the struggle for civil rights. We remember Gino's life and revolutionary contributions with pride. We are sure that he would join us in saying, and I hope you'll say it with me, an injury to one is an injury to all. An injury to one is an injury to all.